America's debt is now over $38 trillion. So, protect your savings with something real. Gold. Sanctuary Metals helps you move a portion of your retirement into physical gold. Tax-deferred and penalty-free. Please call 800-801-6487 or just visit sanctuarymetals.com to get your free retirement defense guide. That's sanctuarymetals.com.
This episode is brought to you by Credit Karma. When it comes to your money, Credit Karma keeps you ahead of the game. You can count on Credit Karma to keep up with your financial needs as they evolve, helping you monitor your progress and giving you personalized recommendations so you can make strides towards your goals. Make sure you're on the right track, no matter where you are on your financial journey. Intuit Credit Karma. Karma you can count on. Download today.
The Larry Kudlow Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
So, of course, we've been talking about Kevin Warsh at the Fed. Big changes coming. And the other thing that's interesting, folks, you should take a look. The Wall Street Journal editorial page features Donald J. Trump, my tariffs have brought America back. It's a really interesting piece. I mean, it's quite a good piece. So let's talk about whatever we're going to talk about. I know we have, we got everybody. Liz Peek, Fox News contributor. We got her. Steve Moore. Whoa, he's here. Terrific stuff. But WABC radio host of More Money, which follows this show on most of these same radio stations. So you two, we didn't have a chance to talk to you yesterday about Kevin Warsh. Let me begin with Liz Peek. What are you thinking, Ms. Peek?
Well, I thought it was a terrific choice. And honestly, I've been so amused watching the liberal media deal with this because clearly they had hoped for a nomination that they could just land on as another sign of Trump sort of smashing norms and trying to get people around him who were going to kowtow to him. And obviously what the markets told us, I mean, there was a pretty independent voice raised about the Kevin Warsh nomination when gold and silver absolutely collapsed amidst the expectation that, guess what, interest rates are not going to solidly head lower indefinitely. I mean, that was the message. And so I really have had fun reading Bloomberg and all these people saying, what an odd choice, because they fully expected that Trump would bring on board someone who is going to bend the knee and lower interest rates, not only in May, but just sort of like constantly. And guess what? Kevin Warsh is a solid, independent thinker. He has all the right credentials and looks the part, as Trump said, but also is very concerned about inflation, concerned about the balance sheet of the Fed, and all the right things, Larry. I think he's a terrific choice.
You know, I will predict on the issue of getting through Congress, he will breeze through the Senate Banking Committee, and he will breeze through the vote on the floor. Whenever it happens, he will breeze through it. And he will get up there and give his opening statement, which is going to go through all the things he's been talking about. Growth does not cause inflation. The balance sheet needs to be smaller. That's the path towards price stability and lower interest rates. He will walk right through that stuff and fearlessly. And because he has had so much experience in markets as well as government, as well as the Fed, he will breeze through. And Steve Moore, it's I don't know if it's regime change, but I'll tell you, it's going to be transformational, and he's going to be in sync with the president. Doesn't mean he's going to do it. It doesn't mean he's his guy, but he is in sync with the president's thinking on the economy and Scott Bessent's thinking of the economy and Kevin Hassett's thinking on the economy. We will have cooperation among the senior policymakers, Steve Moore, and that's a welcome thing. Welcome thing.
Well, it is. And listen, you're the one, I think, who originally introduced me to Kevin Warsh, by the way, about 7 or 8 years ago. He used to come to our Unleash Prosperity dinners all the time. And I've always been impressed with him. I think he has the right disposition and the right philosophy for the job. He is, he's a fan of something you've preached, which is King Dollar.
Yep.
And I want King Dollar. Now, Trump isn't necessarily on that message of King Dollar. He's been saying lately he wants a weaker dollar, but I that's one thing. I think that Kevin Warsh does understand the importance of making sure that the dollar remains strong and stable. And and the most important thing is that we retain our status as the world reserve currency,
mm-hmm.
and I think that's great.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's all good stuff. And
listen,
you're right, by the way, Larry. He's not just going to take his knee. He will be a truly independent. The left was, oh my God, he's just going to pick somebody who's going to do his bidding. Yeah. I don't think he will. I think he will be. He'll keep his eye on the ball. So I texted. Susie Wiles yesterday said, home run, he hit a bullseye with this choice. And I'm just so relieved that we're going to have somebody who believes in the importance of a sound, solid dollar. So I'm happy as can be.
Kevin Warsh is a very close friend of mine. So I know his thinking very well. And we see them all the time, Kevin and Jane. But here's what's good with the dollar. Okay. Warsh and Bessent, who want King Dollar, will win.
Good.
If the
the
president, look, I've heard this for years. The president will come out, he makes these statements because what he's really trying to say is that China and Japan and other countries, in Asia, are depreciating their currencies for export reasons, and that's an unfair trading practice. That's what he's thinking when he says he wants a cheaper dollar. He doesn't really want a cheaper dollar. He wants the dollar to be the world's reserve currency. He does. But and look, they manipulate their currencies. We know that. Yep. That's what he's thinking. Kevin Warsh knows that, and Scott Bessent knows that too. You saw Bessent come out and sort of make a correction. I'm sorry, Liz. Go ahead, please.
No, I think that's exactly right. And I think President Trump, if presented with the idea that China is actively trying to undermine the dollar, which it is trying to do by buying gold and dumping and buying less treasuries, I think Trump will get on board with that because he has a very correct view that China is our primary adversary, and he wants to basically confront all the stuff they're doing. So I think the trade thing is taking care of itself because of tariffs. I don't think we have to worry as much about having a weak dollar in order to compete.
Did you read? Can
I just riff off something that Liz just said? Because this is a real claw in my throat right now. What the hell are the Europeans doing, Larry? I mean, they're talking about partnering with China.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is the most outrageous betrayal of these European leaders, like little pussycats. Oh my gosh, we're mad at Trump, so we're going to go trade with. These are the same people, by the way. How hypocritical! All they've been talking about for the last 15 years is climate change. There's no country in the world that has polluted the climate more than China does, and they're going to run into the hands of their enemies. This is a continent of Neville Chamberlains.
Ooh, I like that, Neville Chamberlains. I love that. I knew him well. Gosh, that's terrific. Steve, you should get your group. I think the European economies are all pretty terrible.
They're horrible.
If you look at four quarter changes or 8 quarter changes, I think they're all stagnant. I mean, we're growing at 4 to 5. I don't think they're growing at all.
They're not. And by the way, I'll give you another amazing statistic that if you look at the 50 most profitable technology companies in the world, you know how many of them are European?
Probably
5 out of 50, and we have like 30 of them, and
that's why they attack us. That's why that's why they attack us. Yeah, because they're so bad.
Yep.
But I don't. Putting that aside, I mean, you just did you read the tariff thing that he wrote today? Did either of you read his tariff?
Yes. Yeah, I did.
So I thought it was pretty damn good.
I thought it was great. Yeah, I thought it was very good, Larry. I think the question is he doing that because the Supreme Court is so delayed in getting out a decision on the tariffs? Is he feeling like there's a difference of opinion there, and so he had to kind of add a little extra argument, put it out there? I don't know. I mean, what do you make of this delay from the Supreme Court?
I think they can't figure out how to deal. In other words, I think they'd like to restrain him, but they understand the money flows are complex. And so I think they don't want to be in the budget business, okay? They don't want to, be in the customs money business or the treasury business. So I think they're trying to figure out what to do about it. And it just keeps being delayed. So, Trump, look, I'm supposed to sit down with him Monday, not this Monday, but next Monday, and we'll talk about this. But I want to make a point, Steve, more especially to you, because I love you and you worked for the Wall Street Journal all those years. The retaliation that everyone predicted did not happen. I mean, basically, it didn't happen. That's the difference between this and the 1930s. And the level, one more point, if you allow me, the tariff level, effective rates is really around 15%. All right. It's not, the Smoot-Hawley tariff was upwards of 50 to 60%. And he got a lot out of this. He's still getting a lot and making money on it to cut the deficit. I mean, I just wish that the Journal and others would say you're right. You're right. Yeah, he's won this round. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steve, please.
I was just going to say that, I was cheating on you, Larry. I was on the BBC this week, and it was very, they were very angry, at Trump, and they were very adversarial. And the whole subject was how Europe is now leaning towards China. And I made this point because they said, well, how can we trade with Trump when he's got these high tariffs? I said, wait a minute. Europe for the last 40 years has had higher tariffs on us than we had on you.
Yes.
You guys are just big hypocrites.
Absolutely.
And so they didn't have much of a response to that.
Well, you're right, though. You're right. See, the reciprocity is still the key word.
Yeah. That's right.
All right.
And can I say one thing on that? If you go back and look at the Smoot-Hawley period, the United States had a huge trade deficit with the rest of the world. Surplus. So there was ample room for retaliation. We don't have that. We don't have a trade surplus with practically anybody. So the idea that these are two very similar circumstances, it was complete rubbish. And really the laziness of the people at the BBC and all the other organizations opining on this, they never did their homework. They really never. You know why? Because this is a brand new thing. Really, no one has ever taken a gigantic trade deficit and said, how am I going to monetize this? And that is or weaponize it, if you will. That's what Trump has done. And it's a very successful operation, as his piece today showed.
By the way, in terms of that awful period, the 30s, let's not, I got to take a break, but let's not forget.
Taxes.
That's right. Herbert Hoover decided that we had to balance the budget. And so the top income tax rate went from 25% to 63%. Okay. 25 to 63. It was just so that had a lot to do with the Depression. It's among the stupidest things in the history of the earth. I got to take a break. We're talking to Liz Peek, Fox News contributor, and Steve Moore's radio show, and I'm going to plug it after this show on most of these same radio stations. More Money is coming up. Can I ask you guys, I don't think it's gotten enough attention. These Trump accounts, children born between January 1, 2025 and December 31st, 2028 receive a one-time $1,000 federal contribution regardless of family income. No means testing, no phase-outs, no income caps. Parents can establish accounts. They can have more contributions from, all these companies are starting to do it. But if you look at the, compounded interest, you're going to create a nation of millionaires. They're going to be capitalists. They're going to be owners. They're going to be wealth. I mean, I think this is the most extraordinary thing. I know some conservatives don't like it. I've heard, I don't know why. It doesn't get much attention. This is a huge thing. And it could turn working class kids into millionaires, for heaven's sakes. Somebody say something. This is so big.
All right, so I will say this. I think it's terrific in that it's an education initiative.
Yeah.
I mean, our kids aren't learning anything about the economy, about how to invest or anything like that. Leonard Lauder, who passed away recently, head of Estee Lauder, wrote a wonderful memoir, and he talks about, as a kid, going to public school in New York, being taken to the local savings bank, and each kid somehow got a savings book with $10 in it, something like that. Wow. And so there is a precedent for this. That was a public school initiative where they thought this would teach the kids something about saving, investing, et cetera. And Leonard, it made such an impression on him. It was the kind of opening thing in his book. So I do think it is honestly, it's a brilliant thing. And I hope it goes forward. I hope it really does catch on and more companies fatten the purse there. I just think it's terrific.
The numbers here, when you compound this, are huge. Huge. I mean,
what is $1,000 compounded at 5% over 20 years or something? Does anyone? I don't have that number.
Wait a second.
Do you know?
Hold on a second. Hold on. Let's see. Nation of Money. I don't have it for 1,000 because let's see. You have supplemental money. You've got family money, and you've got potentially corporate money. What I've got is, let's see. To accumulate anywhere between stock on 175,000 to 700,000 by the time they reach 18 years old. By the time these kids reach 30, they could have as much as $1 million. Yep. But I don't know the precise contributions. But what Liz said is so important. By the way, Leonard Lauder was such a wonderful human being.
Lovely guy.
Wonderful man. But Steve Moore, I don't know. I mean, I know you've done it on on your daily sheets. You've mentioned this thing, but I just don't think it's gotten enough play. I mean, it's almost, this is what we wanted for Social Security. Put it in the stock market instead of these T-bills. This, in a sense, is the Social Security thing.
Yeah. No, look, you're absolutely right. And by the way, I was at the event in Washington, D.C., and he did an amazing job, and so did Scott Bessent. And, but the one who stole the show, as you know, was Nicki Minaj.
Yes.
Yes.
A new hero.
Yes.
And by the way, she was fantastic on the stage, but she did something that, I wonder where all these other, pop stars and Hollywood people talk about how much they care about poor people. Nicki Minaj said for every one of her fans, she's going to put money into their account. I thought, what a great thing. So look, I agree with everything that Liz just said, but we also need to get people in their 20s and 30s to be able to put 10% of their paychecks to divert it away from the black hole of Social Security and put it into an account. And that would have incredible supply side. It would be like giving every American a 10% raise. And if you do that in combination with these Trump accounts, we will have a nation of millionaires, and people will retire with $2-3 million in these accounts. So I love it. And by the way, acculturating people to be savers and investors is so important. And Liz is so right. I mean, I remember, Liz, by the way, when my mom took me to the bank, I had $14. And she said, "You can put this in this account and and I go, they're going to actually pay me interest on this. Oh, that's pretty cool."
Yeah.
Is this, does this require legislation, or they just go ahead and do it? I don't know how it works.
I don't either.
I don't know.
We got to find out.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to have, right.
I think they started. Haven't they started them? Or
I thought so, yes.
Yeah.
But if it's an executive order or not, because there's $1,000 from the government that goes in. So that.
Yeah, I mean, Congress has to have some say on that, right?
I would think so. I'm just saying, for all the reasons we've talked about, this is a very good thing and a very big deal, and needs to be pushed.
Would the Democrats vote against this? I mean, that would be interesting.
I was just going to say what he should do is make this a standalone bill that requires an up or down vote.
I agree.
As you say, if Democrats stand in not one of these omnibus things on page 837, make this a test. You know,
I
do
love
you
it.
care about kids or do you not care about
They'll
kids?
all vote
Very
against
simple.
it. They'll vote against it because it has his name on it.
Probably.
That's the pattern. But I think this is a big deal. A nation of millionaires. I love that. Anyway, kids, thank you, Liz Peek. Thank you very, very much. Steve Moore's, let's see, the radio, More Money, WABC, right after this broadcast on most of these stations. Dial up Steve Moore, please. I'm Kudlow, still kicking around, and hope we'll be back next weekend. Thanks for listening, folks.
Thanks for listening to The Larry Kudlow Show. You can hear The Larry Kudlow Show Saturday mornings at 10. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
America's debt is now over $38 trillion. So, protect your savings with something real. Gold. Sanctuary Metals helps you move a portion of your retirement into physical gold. Tax-deferred and penalty-free. Please call 800-801-6487 or just visit sanctuarymetals.com to get your free retirement defense guide. That's sanctuarymetals.com.